Welcome to the Student Perspective section. In this section, we will review video clips of students talking about their experiences with preceptors, and we'll review a video clip of a student talking about the Preceptor of the Year award. In the video clips, we ask students with the prompt, what are the best attributes you think a preceptor has, and describe a great precepting experience. Now, before we start this section, I'd like you to do something. I'd like you to write down your top 5 attributes you think makes a great preceptor. I want you to think about what skills or assets or abilities you think make a good preceptor. Now we'll have you listen to some music, jot down your 5 items for about 60 seconds until we begin those video clips.
Some of the very best preceptors I have had throughout my clinical year have been really intentional communicators. Some examples for how that takes shape in the preceptor-student relationship is when a preceptor lets the student know when feedback will be happening that week, or when the preceptor will let the student know some goals they could set for themselves. For example, working on going over the treatment plan with the patient. These just create a really nice framework for the student to know what they can work on and know what the preceptor's expectations are. And I felt like in those situations, I always develop a really wonderful working relationship with my preceptor.
Out of your comfort zone by making you feel like you're actually taking responsibility for a patient, even as a student. Someone who will say, okay, you want to prescribe this medication, but at which dose and at what frequency, things like that.
I was lucky enough to have a really great preceptor for my first rotation at Stanford as an APP student. Some of the things that she did that were so great included introducing me to everybody that we met, whether she knew them or not, to help me feel included and help me, foster those genuine connections with other providers, patients, and families that eventually led me to meeting my next preceptor, which I'm really excited about, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without her help. She also helped me set goals at the beginning of my rotation, and then she checked in with me at the beginning, during, and after every shift to make sure that we could reflect on the good things, the bad things, and talk about other opportunities that we can do to help each other grow in both of our roles. And I also thought she was really creative in the sense that we didn't have official rounds every day, so we would practice our one-liners together when we were running around the hospital seeing our patients. It was just really helpful, and I'm very grateful for her.
I had a really wonderful experience working with a preceptor who each day after I gave a presentation of a patient, or at the end of each day, he would give me one piece of feedback and ask me to focus on incorporating that feedback the next day. As you can imagine, this feedback adds up over time, and I was able to see a lot of really measurable growth, both in my presentations, interactions with patients, as well as clinical knowledge.
I think what makes a good preceptor is this delicate balance of finding a way to challenge you and give you autonomy, but at the same time still guiding you and teaching you. And I think that the best preceptors really throw you into situations where you feel uncomfortable, but in a way that's still safe for your patients and still is a good learning experience for you.
A great preceptor encourages me to take a history and do a physical exam, and then they observe me do that and give feedback as necessary. They then challenge me to create an assessment and plan, and throughout everything they engage in clinical reasoning with me and take the time to mentor me through the clinical reasoning process.
Hi, my name is Michelle Choi, and I am a recent UCSF pediatric nurse practitioner graduate. I had the greatest privilege of precepting with Bahari Farhadian and the Immune Behavioral Health Clinic at Lucille Packard for about 8 to 9 months, and I'm excited to share my nomination of Bahari for the Preceptor of the Year Award, Nurse Practitioner. Bahari regularly asked me what my goals were throughout my clinical rotation. She would encourage me to be as independent as possible so that by the end of clinicals, she had me leading visits entirely on my own and formulating my own assessments and plans, with her supervising and lending tips, but always allowing me to lead. She would take the time to carefully read through my clinical notes and provide constructive feedback to both visits and notes. Bahari never criticized, but always praised me for my hard work while also providing teaching moments that enhanced my growth. She encouraged questions and an open mind, and fostered a safe and open environment where I could grow as a student. While this clinic itself focused on some very new and unique diagnoses not regularly taught in school, Bahari always provided educational material to enhance my knowledge and took the time to explain concepts in detail that was easy for me to understand. Bahari is also the ideal preceptor I would like to emulate if I ever have the chance to become a preceptor in the future. From the first day, she talked with me one-on-one, asking what my goals for this rotation were and what I wanted to achieve by the end of the rotation. This was her first time precepting a student, and I was blown away by how passionate and involved she was as a preceptor. She was highly involved with my learning, oftentimes taking time to explain, multiple times, difficult concepts, as well as sending great educational articles to better enhance my knowledge. This clinic was a challenge for me, as I was not initially very familiar with PANS, PANDAS, and immune behavioral health. However, Bahari regularly checked in with me to ensure I was comfortable with the clinic, but also challenged me to push towards my goals and learn as much as I can. Bahari not only has a passion for teaching, but a passion for mentorship, as she created an open and comfortable environment which allowed me to provide care to the full extent of my own practice as an NP student, and has mentored me several times regarding my future. Bahari is also a leader and a team player. The IBH clinic is quite a unique clinic and consists of a multidisciplinary team that involves rheumatology, child psychology, allergy, pediatricians, LCSWs, and research, as PANS and PANDAS is still relatively novel, and sometimes it takes a village to care for and treat their patients. Throughout clinicals, Bahari has included me and made me feel a part of the healthcare team by introducing me to the members, encouraging me to ask questions to members of different specialties, as well as for more than a quarter letting me give morning report on all of our patients to the entire team. All this helped build my confidence in working with an amazing multidisciplinary team and to be open-minded to different ideas and thoughts. Bahari also went above and beyond to help me build rapport by trying to schedule patients on days I would have clinicals so that I could build a relationship with patients and families and have continuity of care. She would also ensure I could be part of new patient visits, which were lengthier and were great learning opportunities. I really appreciated the opportunity to have continuity of care and to see patients improve and sometimes not improve, but making patient and team-centered changes in their care to help them get better. Bahari models extraordinary clinical excellence as a provider, consultant, educator, coach, and advocate for children. Not only does she make being a dedicated preceptor and mentor her priority, she also makes it her priority to provide patient-centered quality care to all her families. 2 mottos she has ingrained in me are, do no harm and be curious. She always ensures to provide parents with all the different types of treatments available and appropriate, going over risks and benefits, as well as inquiring about their comfort levels, wants, and needs. With Be Curious, she taught me to be open-minded and to ask open-ended questions during patient visits, to allow patients and families to tell their stories so that we can offer patient-centered care and offer treatment with informed consent. Bahari truly cares for her patients and truly works to help her patients improve. Bahari also provides culturally sensitive care. She always ensures family needs are met, and when our Spanish-speaking parents come for appointments, she ensures translators are available. Additionally, instead of speaking to the translator, Bahari speaks to the parent with direct eye contact and involves them in as much of the care as she would English-speaking families. She does not glance over parents' input simply because they are Spanish-speaking, but welcomes open dialogue despite a language barrier. For our under-resourced families, Bahari and the IBH clinic team all go above and beyond to provide as much support as possible, such as gift cards to purchase items part of the treatment plan, bus tickets, and connecting to resources for other patient-sensitive needs. She provides the same excellent quality of care to all patients regardless, and provides extra support to those who require it. She is inclusive also in the way she includes me as her student in creating patient care plans, leading morning huddle, and voicing my thoughts and opinions. She creates a truly open environment for all patients, providers, and students to work together and collaborate. Bahari, thank you for all your hard work and dedication you put into being an amazing provider and an inspirational preceptor. Thank you again, and congratulations on your nomination.
Let's go over all the great things we just heard from those videos. Now, when I think about a preceptorship, we're thinking about the situated learning, meaning the learning environment that we're putting our students in, and the guided practice, meaning the role that you play as a preceptor in teaching and guiding the learning process of your student. There are 10 things that these students said made an excellent preceptor. In the situated learning category, we heard from a few students say guided autonomy. We also heard this from clerkship directors, and the importance of having students practice their skills independently, but being guided with it, feeling supported, like they're getting the right resources, they're not taking risks with the patients, and they're building and strengthening their practice skills. We heard inclusion. We also heard this from some of the clerkship directors as well, including the students in opportunities such as grand rounds, being able to present, meeting members of the team, just being included and being a part of the medical team. Out of comfort zone. This is one I think some of you may have not expected the students to say, but that environment, taking them to a place where they have to challenge themselves, reflect, and grow, is something they appreciate from our situated learning environments. Clinical reasoning, the process of going over cases, reflecting on what occurs, being able to allow the student to think through difficult diagnoses and problems, something very valuable to the students. Challenge. Students get more out of their environment if they're challenged in their environment. Those are the 5 things that they said about situated learning. Now we go over to guided practice. This is an area we have more control over. Situated learning is our learning environment. This is what we're bringing the students into. We can have days that are really slow. We can have days that are so busy. And the student benefits from seeing those changes and those swings and the different experiences of being in a clinical environment. It's very different than our learning environment in the classroom. Guided practice. This is something you can do from day one, right? When you get your student, setting goals, working on goals, and as some of the students saying, getting new goals as they go. Maybe having a new goal every day, a new goal every week, or goals over the whole experience in the rotation. Feedback. Feedback is very important to the students. They want to know they're doing the right thing, so every time they do it, they keep doing it right over and over again. Feedback can be hard to give sometimes because it feels like critique, but if we give feedback in ways that the students can grow and learn and improve, it is always welcome. Check-ins. The students benefit from regular check-ins to make sure that the work that they're doing is valuable and they're having a good experience. Other important aspects of check-ins is to see how they're doing on the rotation. Are they getting enough autonomy? Are they challenged? Are they being included? Are they seeing things that make them uncomfortable? Are they feeling safe and secure? Reflection. Reflecting on our clinical practice is something that we all do, and it's an important part of teaching students how to reflect on their growth, areas that they need to improve on, and experiences that they've had. Measurable growth. We all want to know we're improving. It's so hard to tell. And for students, it's even harder because they don't know what they're supposed to be like and really where they are. So sometimes setting goals where they know they have deficits and they know they have areas to grow can be very helpful. Other things that can be helpful are checks in on their knowledge in the beginning and the end of the rotation, because then they can say, wow, when I came in, I didn't know anything about this diagnosis, this procedure, this way of thinking, like creating a diagnostic framework for this diagnosis, and I'm leaving now with all of that knowledge. It's really neat to see the students' perspective on things, and I do hope this helps you guide your preceptorship. Our next presentations are going to be on some of these things the students want more help with, such as goal setting and feedback. So listen more for more information.